animations can add a little bit of pizzazz to your project, and a little bit of pizzazz is generally a good thing. You don't want to overdo it. Animations can get in the way and can cause user experience issues. But if you do small animations, you can add a little bit of embellishment that goes a long way in making your application feel more lively. I have a game that I've built in Flutter, and I'm going to show you how to add animations to that. So this is the project. It's called Memories-of-sheol. If I'm going to go ahead and just restart it. This is the start screen. I'd like to animate this logo. I think that would add a little bit of pizzazz and look pretty nice. So there's a little bit going on in the start screen. There's some audio stuff that's not really relevant for this. There's a scaffold, a container, a flex, some flexibles, and then we have the text. So this is the logo. If we remove this, it's gone. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking this, and I'm going to create a new widget here, and I'm going to just call this AnimatedTitle.Dart. We're going to make this a stateful widget, animated title, and then I'm going to come back to the start screen and copy this and paste it here. I need to update my imports, so we'll pull in Google Fonts, we'll pull in Material Flutter, and we don't need Foundation, and we don't need widgets anymore since we're pulling all of Material in. Okay, first things first, let's swap this new animated title in. Let's make sure it works. Do a hard refresh. Okay, still there, perfect. This is kind of nice, we get to clean up some stuff too. So all of these can become const. So we can clean that up and remove the const here. And that's a little nicer too, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the animations. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm thinking we have like some opacity and we have things kind of slide in. So I'm going to add a single ticker provider state mix-in. That'll help us with vsync. And I'm going to do a late final animation controller equals animation controller vsync this. You have to make, if you are initializing your animation controller and you want vsync pointed to this, which is the single ticker provider state mix-in, you have to make this late. Another option is you could initialize this in a init state. That's probably the more correct thing to do, but this works just as well. I'm also going to give this a duration. One thing that's kind of neat is if you look in what is provided from Material, they give you some durations. So you can create your own duration if you'd like, or you can use one of these from the Material guidelines. Let's go with extra long. Okay, and now that we're here, we can take our text and wrap this in like an animated builder. Our animation will be animation controller. Our builder will get a context and a widget. And here's an important thing. A lot of people take their entire widget and place it like this. You can run into some issues with that. So instead, what you should be doing is providing a child to your animated builder. And then what you do is you just return the piece that is being animated. So the way that this works is this instance gets passed into this builder function, and we just return the pieces that change. If you were to paste it here, you're returning a new instance of the text the entire time, and it's very difficult for Flutter to diff that correctly. Or maybe not very difficult, but it adds some extra overhead. Okay, so with that in mind, now that we're here, we can, we said we wanted to do opacity, right? So we can do animation controller.value times 100. Let's see what that looks like. And then child widget. Okay, it disappeared. That's an interesting start. So what are we missing? Well, we're not firing our animation. So if we create an init state here, and then we come down here, we can say animation controller.forward. There are other options too, like fling, which does like a spring style animation. Let's just go with forward for now and see how that looks. Okay, opacity is greater than... Okay, basically we need to clamp this down to a value. So I was thinking this was a percent, but in hindsight, I don't think it is a percent. Hey, that looks pretty good. So this is fine. This is a spot that we could stop if we would like. That little animation is nice. It doesn't get in the way of anything. It adds a little bit of pizzazz, but I want to go a little step farther. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opacity here, or actually probably this text. Let's try this text first. And I'm going to wrap this in an animated slide. So we need to provide a duration. I want this duration to be different. So I'm going to say milliseconds, 400. And sometimes having animations, multiple animations triggering on the same element with different durations or different speeds and intensities can really add a lot of nice flavor to your animation. Okay, so we have that. We need an offset. So we'll create an offset. dx 0, dy. We'll do like animation controller dot value times 0.1. And then now that we're here, we need to provide a child for this as well. So we can structure it something like this. Let's make that a const. And how's this look? Well, okay, not much changed. So I think the issue that we're running into here is since this is an animation, technically this slide needs to be a part of this builder. So what we can do is we can take all of this. Well, actually, let's just wrap our opacity with it. How about that? So we have an animated slide. We have an offset, and our offset is 0 animation controller dot value times 0.1 duration const duration milliseconds 400 child all of this, and then now we can reduce the child on the animated builder back down to the text. Let's give this a hot reload. Hey, that looks pretty good. Do I want it to slide down like that, though, or do I want it to slide up? That's the question. So if we take this approach, we could make it slide up. I kind of like that. Then again, sliding down's not bad either. And we can kind of tinker with these values a little bit to see if we find something else that we like. That's a little too much. I think I might just keep it at 0.1. Looks pretty good to me. And there you have it. Animating in Flutter actually is really straightforward and can add a lot of nice, I keep saying pizzazz, hopefully that resonates and people know what I mean, but a little bit of flair to your application that doesn't necessarily get in the way of user experience. It shouldn't. And can really just make it feel a little bit more alive. So Flutter makes this super easy. In fact, technically, these are two different ways to do animations. This single ticker provider state mixin, which is required for the animation controller. If you wanted to do just the slide yourself, you don't actually need all of this either. And fun fact, I'm pretty sure there's an animated opacity. So if we really wanted to animate the opacity the same way, we wouldn't even need that controller at all. But I often kind of lean towards the animation controller because it gives me a lot more control over how everything fits together. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you learned something. Have a great day.